In the last video, we explored how the ego disguises itself as spiritual progress, how it quietly whispers, "I am growing. I am awakening." Many of you felt something shift when you heard that. But here is what Ramana Maharshi says next, and very few teachers dare to say it. Even the one who now sees through the ego is still the ego. The trap does not end when you recognize the trap. Ramana warned that the final form of the ego is the sense of being an aware one. The one who has understood, the one who has seen. This is where most seekers stop. This is where Ramana asked us to go further. When someone first begins the practice of self-inquiry, the ego is still rough. It clings to pleasure, to being right, to feeling special. Meditation softens these edges, and slowly the seeker begins to feel something different, a kind of inner quiet, a detachment from small things. This feels like progress. But Ramana Maharshi observed something that most spiritual teachers overlook entirely. The ego does not die when you become calm. Instead of, "I want to be rich," it begins to say, "I want to be enlightened." The hunger is the same. Only the object has changed. Ramana was once asked, "How will I know when I have made real progress?" He sat quietly for a moment, then said something that silenced the room. The one who asks that question, find out who that one is, not what the answer is, but who is asking. Because the very act of measuring your own spiritual progress is proof that the ego is still there. The self has no interest in progress. Now, here is the place where many advanced seekers become stuck. They discover silence, real inner silence. And this is genuinely beautiful. But then something happens. The silence itself becomes a possession. They begin to say, "I am the silent one. I am the aware one." Ramana Maharshi would say, "Look very carefully at that feeling. Who is it that owns this silence? Who feels superior because of stillness?" The ego has now dressed itself in the most elegant robe available, awareness itself. This is the third and most subtle stage of disguise. Ramana Maharshi was pointing to something beyond, something that cannot be achieved or possessed, because there is no seeker to begin with. The question, "Who am I?" is not meant to produce an answer. It is meant to make the mind go inward, searching for the meditator. It looks and looks, but it cannot find a separate entity. It finds only awareness, only the light of consciousness. In that moment, the seeker disappears, not into nothingness, into everything. This is what Ramana called the I. He said, "The self you are looking for is looking. You are the self watching a person believe it must travel." Self-inquiry is an investigation that dissolves the investigator entirely. And that is what the ego cannot survive. Ramana Maharshi lived mostly in silence. He did not build an organization. He simply sat. And in that sitting, everything changed. If you feel something stirring as you hear these words, that is the self recognizing itself. Stay in the inquiry. If this video touched you, leave one word in the comments. Thank you for being here. Watch part 1 if you haven't already.